Hello, hello. Yours is working. I don't think any of the rest of them are working on us.
In the back.
Let's grab that sandwich.
I think I got it.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna. Okay, so now. Can't you turn, I think it's turned up a little loud.
That
I don't know which one is which.
You don't know which
They all look like they're turned at the same dial spot
It's
too.
pretty loud. I think
That
it's
is.
pretty-
Neither Nina or Lorraine are here, that's why it's acting up.
Yeah. I think-
All right, it's quiet right now.
Okay, good.
It's not new.
Ooh, okay.
When you do that.
Just to see if it's
Just to
still
test
on.
it, yeah.
I was
Alright.
if you were waiting. You just sit over there and take care of the sound, please.
You got it.
Are we recording it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, the meeting, Streets and Infrastructure Committee meeting has been called to order at 5:47 p.m.
5:42.
5:42. I looked at this one.
Yeah.
All right. Roll calls. Stephen Day is not here. Frank Cabello.
Present.
Ben Leckley.
Here.
David Russell is not here.
I think he got excused. I got a message from him asking if he's gonna be here. He said he got excused because he runs a restaurant that's open. He can't be here this time.
Okay. Cynthia Conroy.
Here.
Monica Patience.
Yes.
And then Matthew Gurney, staff liaison. Call to the public, we have no call to the public. First,
Do we have a form? Do we have a meeting?
we do, we have 4, and we have a form. All right, approval of the minutes of the regular session of the Streets and Infrastructure Committee held on January 27th, 2022. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion, we approve the minutes.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, motion and a second. Motion by Cynthia and a second by Ben Leckley. All right. We'll start on to old business. Do I need to show the agenda on the screen, or does everybody kind of know?
Well, you can if you want.
All right, let me see if
Would be
I.
great.
Not we'll be able to read it. No, that's
No,
not, I
okay.
think what's important is that you read
All
it
right.
out loud.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Okay.
All right. First business is a review of financial reports. And I have financial reports. Hopefully we can see and I can magnify it pretty good on our computer. I don't know. You can see that, right?
You can read.
I can see it.
I can't, but it doesn't matter, I'm blind.
Okay.
Not on my glasses.
All right, so just a brief overview. The fund balance, which is carried over from last year into this budget year, was $447,509, and then our revenue over expenditures from beginning of the year to now is $527,253, which comes to a total of $974,762.38. And with total equity, it comes out to $979,000. Let's see. So that's 1%. We also have 1% sales tax increase. We can see it was budgeted at $800,000 of increase. I don't know all of these, so you don't have to excuse me. There's a lot of stuff on these that still learning. I think this is what was projected. So we'll get we're a little over projection. So
Should get Carrie in here to explain it.
oh man, yeah, she could explain everything in this thing, but how don't think she's
Probably won't come out.
probably not.
Did you send us a copy of this, this financial document?
I can't. I can't.
That'd be great.
Yeah, that'd be good. If you attach it to the minutes after this, I think we'll all can.
We can do that.
If we have questions, we'll bring them up
Yeah,
sooner or later.
we had Lorena running out, she had an appointment, so we weren't able to get everything tied up as much as we wanted to. So if we can go down, here I can kind of highlight it right here. That's the sales tax. We started with $1 million was budgeted. We have spent total only $36,000. So we have $963,000. This is as of February, so that's how it's always kind of a month behind on the financials. So we have $963,782. It's actually a little more than that. Let me,
That's what's left to date in the
as of February,
February 2022,
yes,
and new budgets are coming out,
yes.
but is new income coming in? Is this where we're asking for the 1% again for streets? Is that gonna happen? Or-
We usually get around we usually get around 900,000 a year,
Okay,
roughly.
from everything that comes in, all the
That's
different
what
line items. right?
Yeah, that's what I got from Carrie. We have, I mean, obviously more has been spent since February on different patching roads and different stuff that whether it's signs or whatever. So that's where it's at right now. So we're doing, I mean, we haven't done a whole lot. It's been a busy year with everything else besides paving, so, but that's something we'll discuss here in a little bit. So overall, our budget is going good for the streets as a whole. We're at, and then, we can.
I have a question about.
Yeah.
So if you have, like I know Accelerated is doing some of the work on that retaining wall. Are any of the resources for the retaining walls that impact the roadways, is that being impacted by the funds for streets and infrastructure?
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that is it is streets, infrastructure, that's paving roads, that's walls, sidewalks,
Okay.
anything to do with infrastructure. I mean, it could even, what I've been told, is it could even technically even go to possibly even sewer lines, 'cause that's part of the infrastructure.
Okay.
It hasn't been used for that.
Right.
And then,
But there's caveats to that, when you're talking about restrictions on HERF funds, because, you know, ADOT has its own guidelines of what you can spend money on, and
yes,
I think, you know, when you have a fund and you've got a restriction on half of it, to be careful,
correct.
you know, and play it well. But that said, I'm pretty sure her funds would carry something like that retaining wall or sidewalks or stuff, drainage related to streets.
Yeah, it does as well.
Okay.
Do you have any work on the budget?
What's that?
Do you have any work on the new budget?
Oh, I had already submitted the budget for the new year, yeah.
When's the deadline? When's the?
We have our first meeting, I think, in April, with council. It's already gone through, the city manager. We've had meetings with the city manager and it's gone through him already. So then the next step is going to.
Well, does any of this money have to be spent down if it's almost 900 and over 900,000 that's in the fund and another 900,000 that would come in through all the line items?
Correct.
If we don't spend that down quite a bit, is there ever a penalty or anyone who wants to take the money back if we don't spend it, or is this
No.
really given
Well,
unrestricted funds?
If let's say there's 900,000 in there.
Yeah, let's say
Okay,
950.
and we only spend
36.
another 200,000 between now and the end of the year.
Right.
Whatever's left over, if we don't allocate it to add and pretty much ask to put it into the next fiscal year's budget, it'll go into the fund balance, and it'll go, you have to wait.
General fund?
No, no, not general fund, into our streets infrastructure fund balance, which means if I don't allocate it for the next year, I can't touch it to the following fiscal year.
Right. So
And
you've
it goes-
allocated all these funds, I take it?
Yes, I have for this year, because we're getting close to the end, well, the first stretch of the 1%, which we're gonna be talking about this too. So let me pull up, I'm gonna get onto my Microsoft Office real quick, and I wanna pull up a document to show you, projections. We talked about having 900 something thousand. Like I said, I don't know all the numbers. It's a lot to try and understand. So this is what I got, the projected year-end amount. And let me see if I can zoom that in so we can see. There we go. All right. So projected year-end amount, and that's we basically get around 30,000 a month from some sales tax a month, and then we go about, you generally use about 50,000 of that a month, roughly. I mean, it's not exact, but around,
We spend more than we get 30 and we spend 50?
roughly. It changes all the time. It depends on what's going on in that, but that's what when I talked with Carrie, that's what it was. So this is the year-end amount, the 1,295,000 is what we're projecting with getting it 30,000, and then 30,000. Do you remember if it was 30,000?
A month?
I think it's actually, sorry, I can look at my emails real quick, because I'm almost thinking, now that you said that it's 300,000. Sorry.
Makes no sense. I don't wanna spend the overtime.
I've been dealing with a lot of numbers lately, so you'll have to excuse me. Let's see. Here we go. 50,000. Monthly revenues are about 130,000. I knew I had a 3 in it somewhere. And our monthly expenses are about 50,000. So, no, we don't use more than what we.
So
that
you're
comes in.
saving 80,000 a month then?
Yes.
For what?
Yeah, 80,000 in excess per month. Or an additional 320,000 to our fund balance by year end. So that's where we get the 1,295,000. So, project year-end projects, or projected year-end projects, and this is when we, Tembe Avenue wall was 62,500. That's a really good price for a retaining wall that's 112 feet long. Also, Tembe paving. It's not 16,000, it shows in here 16,000, but if you look at the next item, it says spring overlay. Part 21,000 is projected for Tembe Avenue, so it's really 34,000, but I had to subtract from that 21,000 roughly, and that's.
The rest is like for sewer and other stuff.
Sewer, no.
Or, not sewer, the water line that went in. There was like a water line that went in and.
Well, that's not, we didn't pay for that.
Oh, okay.
No, that's Arizona Water.
Okay.
So yeah, it's just, all we have budgeted for is the Tembe wall and the paving, when it's done. Excuse me. So it's really 34,000, but in order to show it with the road, that's how much is left over in excess, because that includes them lifting the water boxes and manholes and all, and making sure the drainage is right and everything for Tempe. Can't take a drink of water.
So every year about, we do a big, like paving project, like a big special project.
Yes.
Tombstone Canyon, and maybe we're getting off agenda, but the last big one was Tombstone Canyon before, it was in Warren. So that's and those are usually budgeted out to a third-party contractor to do, because they're too big for city dispute.
Understood. Yes.
So, just to keep that in mind. Because those make a big impact to the public, big positive impact to the public, and really help increase quality of life and give good economy of use to the funds as well. So.
Yeah, so we can move, and that's not too far off our agenda, so that's no problem with that. So spring overlay 2022, that is gonna be from now until July 1st, or end of June. I'm projecting, I did, with iWorks, we look at it and we selected roads that still needed to be done, what we could get, what we felt like we could do in that amount of time between now and June and that cost $226,256.73. And then I'm adding 20% on top of that for, in case we know there's places we need to go wider than what it projected or whatever else. So it comes out to rounding up $272,000 in just paving that we're projecting to do between now and July 1st.
And that's with our local public works department.
Yes.
A big
Yes.
project like, do you have a big project like Dan was referring to and we've done in the past?
I do not. Only Tempe. And, only Tempe. We are, and we'll get into from July to June of next year, we'll get into that also, that's on one of the agendas. And I'll be able to
We'll be able
explain
to talk
that.
about parking too, right?
Yes, that's in the agenda.
Okay.
And then we have another projected urine project. I'm hoping to get to this, is the 229A Tombstone Canyon wall. This is most likely going to get paid for by the homeowner's insurance. I don't know if anybody has seen that wall.
It just collapsed like last week, right?
No, it was about a month ago now.
Oh, okay.
So,
Most recent.
and that's what a price we got from Accelerated Construction is $84,000 to do that wall. And that's in our Mule Gulch ditch channel. If you don't know where that is, that's the address is 229A Tombstone Canyon. It's next to the Whispering, that pottery place, that small new building that's like spans the gulch or the drainage.
Oh, Sonia's place?
I'm not sure.
Ferguson? That runs that fun little pottery place?
Yes,
Just down
Yeah, it's-
the building?
just past that.
Oh, okay.
Right there is where that wall is, that fell. So, projected year-end cost for those items is $435,088.55. So that gets us to a projected fund balance at the end of June of $859,000, $911.45. This is what I have allocated also to, instead of it staying into the fund balance, adding it into the new budget, the new fiscal budget for this year, so we can use it and get. I'm planning on getting a bunch of streets done from July on, also. So.
July's kind of a late start. Can we start in May?
Oh, we're starting. Yeah, the 226,000 is between now and July.
Oh,
So, yeah.
And that's for a crew of guys with our own asphalt machine.
Yes, I'm projecting everything we do between now and June, and then July and next year is just gonna be just our guys. It's gonna be a lot of roads, but I think it's something.
Still a lot left to do.
So, but this is what is projected to hopefully get, be transferred over to the new fiscal year, is that 859,000.
We do have the paving plan in the agenda, right? So, in this agenda, like to go
Yes.
over? Okay.
Yes.
So we'll go away.
So, yeah, and I'll show you which roads, all that stuff. And I have a whole list of it, and I can email that to everybody and
That'd
stuff
be
too.
great.
In the next fiscal year, I'm actually planning to make it on a few more if I can. We just have to look at that, so. But that's the review of financial reports. Any comments, questions, or anything you want to talk about with that?
Are generally, compared to previous years, is our funds the same, more or less?
Seems to be about the same. I mean, I know the last 2 years it was lower, but it seems like we're getting back up to where, we were before, roughly. So, Nick, anything else on agenda number 1?
Well, with gas prices as they are, we might get in the tax, percentage of that, we might get a little kick there, so.
But the asphalt might cost you a lot more.
That too.
Like
Yeah,
20%.
I don't know, because crude prices are the same.
No, okay.
Yeah.
Sandwiches
So-
with paving.
We haven't heard any change in price. We haven't, because we've been, doing potholing and stuff around, and it's been the same price so far.
Where do you buy most of your asphalt? Through KDG?
Yep, that's the only place that we buy. Well, sorry, take that back. We do, when we need smaller batches or we're potholing, we'll get it from City of Douglas. But only on small little potholing and whatnot, because they can't batch a whole lot. So, all right, if there's no other questions, we'll move on to agenda 2. All right, and that's discussion of hydrology study report on Tombstone Canyon. Let me pull that up. So, the WLB engineering group did a hydrology study for Tombstone Canyon. And this all came up after the Tombstone Canyon was paved, and there was the scare of, buildings being flooded and whatnot. So, it's a 184, I was planning on printing this out, but it's 184 pages, so I'm not gonna print that all out. But I can email, this and stuff too, if anybody wants
How
something.
about an executive summary, 2 pages? What's the
I can do
bottom
that too.
line? What's
The
the bottom
the
line?
conclusion, and that's what I have up right
Good.
here.
All right.
That's why I was gonna bring
Yeah,
this
don't
to
send
you.
that 184 pages, to me anyway.
Well, this conclusion is in the top 5
Okay,
pages, so,
good. Yeah.
the rest is pictures and diagrams and whatever else. Okay, so, let me get up here. Based on current photos, Google Earth, pre-overlay, imagery, and construction input from K&G Construction, the second pre-overlay model appears to represent a truer representation of a pre-overlay conditions. I'm just reading off of this if you want to follow along. The crown elevation was reduced by 2 inches from current surveyed conditions, which is as-built. The crown pre-overlay model results are included in Appendix B, which is below, which is in all the probably 50 pictures and whatnot that's down there. The difference or the increase in water surface elevations from pre and post overlay models range from a 1/2 inch to 0.8 inches. So that's what they're projecting is the difference from pre-overlay to post-overlay. The increase of less than 1 inch is a minimal or nominal reduction of street runoff capacity.
So they're saying there's not a problem.
They're saying that this is how much it raised up from what was there already. And they have concepts. They say potential mitigation concepts or changes that we could do to help that have been evaluated, which would increase the existing Main Street flow capacity. Number one is increased grate capacity across from the parking lot, north side of street, based on the existing pipe side. So this grate that they're talking about is right in front of the Bisbee Grand Hotel. There's a grate with I think a 8 to 10 inch pipe that runs water on that side of the road, goes in there, and then it connects to the ditch or the channel that flows. So they're saying increase the grate capacity across from the parking lot, based on existing size. So that's one thing they're saying we could do. Number two is increase curb height to a standard 6-inch curb along both sides of the street in areas where the curb height is minimal or non-existent. Which we kind of did a section where the curb was non-existent, right there in front of that store that was the most worried about.
Yeah, and most of those sidewalks are brand new. Well, not that old. They were redone not that long.
Okay.
But I think number two is pretty infeasible because of the entry level of all the surrounding buildings.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I think what they're saying is just do the curb part and not the sidewalk.
But then you'll have those railings.
Then, yeah, you most likely you probably want railings around that. Otherwise, you can have a tripping hazard. That's just one idea. Number three is divert street runoff from the north side of Main Street eastward on Subway Street. And then
Wait, say that again, do what?
divert street runoff, so water runoff on the street from the north side of Main Street, so that's the Bisbee Grand side, eastward onto Subway. So divert it, once it gets to Subway, divert that water onto Subway.
How?
You can, there's different things, berms, a berm of some sort, or
Not only how, but why? What good would it do to go
Just
under
getting
Subway?
less
Then you could-
water.
Then you could flood the Rook and all those other buildings from the
Yeah,
quad.
well, they're higher up.
All right.
Yeah,
They
it's
all-
higher up.
And actually,
Sorry, go ahead.
Subway used to be, actually Subway was originally designed as a drainage ditch, and then they moved it over to where it is now. So I think,
You're talking behind the post office then instead of.
no, Subway.
No, that's
Or what a
what,
Legion is.
yeah, right, that's what Subway,
But
but I thought.
the newer ditch is,
Yeah, right.
under
Main
Commerce.
Street.
Under, under Commerce.
Doesn't it seem like you would start with doing the grate and then see, especially given the fact that we'll be lucky if it ever rains again?
Yeah, these are different ideas that they said. And they suggested mitigation measures 2 and 3 seem to provide the best solution to improve the surface runoff conveyance with Main Street without extensive work being performed.
So what do Subway people think of this?
Well, this hasn't, it's just what the engineering group has suggested, possibly doing one of these. And I haven't talked with them yet. I found this recently, finally. I know I didn't have it at the last meeting, and I finally was able to find it in some different file folders.
Yeah, I really like 1 and 3. Number 2 seems like there would have to be a lot of super detailed sidewalk design, so we're not getting water running into businesses, and then also not having these crazy railings all over the place, which I know people would just not want.
Wasn't there used, this is going on, never mind.
Yeah.
Never mind. It's going on.
Well, except if there were a few more railings, those tourists wouldn't keep walking down the middle of the street like they do instead of on the sidewalk.
So,
Yeah, I agree with Ben. I think personally I would start with one.
Yeah, definitely.
and
Is
that
that
is,
great, I think.
that,
Yeah.
sorry,
I've yet to see that there's really a problem. Walking last year, there was no problem.
there was, it did not seem to be a problem.
Right.
And we had pretty good rain. I don't know if it's, you know, it's not obviously the biggest monsoon we've ever had. Obviously, I mean, we've had some crazy ones, but it was a pretty decent.
Yeah, we had a lot of rain.
But it is projected that we're gonna get less winter rains generally now and more torrential monsoon rains, so.
Yeah, I mean, and we can't go off of, what we might get is like, we have to project
Right, but you
the
could get.
100-year floods and.
So we would do
I mean,
that.
100-year floods, you can't really predict, can't do.
Yeah, the grate would be done by our people?
I've already been given direction by the city manager to do a grate, clear across the road, to catch everything that comes down.
I think that'd be perfect.
I'm gonna be looking at getting K&G to hopefully do that.
Is it possible
Plus,
to make?
maybe people think it's you know how cows are and they slow down for a grate? Maybe you could make that grate rumble a little bit, scare those people who are speeding down Main Street.
But then the
Get a
people
two-
that are sleeping
Get a bang
in
out
the
of your
hotel are
butt.
gonna be mad that it's noisy.
Can we just have a couple spots where skateboard can go over?
Yeah, right, those illegal skateboarders.
I don't know how, we'll have to look at
I
that.
think if
Then we'll have to do a joint thought process on that. So we are gonna be reaching out to K&G for that work. Because especially with our guys gonna be doing the street
Yeah, just
paving that
remember.
we're doing.
Doesn't happen in October. No grates in October.
No,
No work in
we're
October.
projecting to do this before monsoon.
Okay, well, yeah, that's good. I'm just worried about when all the people are running down the street.
No work in October as long as there's a skateboard ramp.
All right.
Deal.
Do you skateboard?
No, I don't, but my friends do.
Just check. You look like a skateboard.
Any other comments, questions? Anybody have anything else they want to discuss on the hydrology report? I mean, I can skim through pictures if you
No,
want.
no, we're good.
But it's just
We're good.
pictures.
We understand.
Okay,
Okay.
so I'm
At
good.
least I do. I'm good. I don't want to speak for everyone.
Everybody else, you good? Okay. All right, update on citywide paving plan, budget and schedule. Now we can get into the, not necessarily fun part, but the fun part.
I think it's a fun part.
I do too. I'm excited for what we're doing this year,
Yeah.
what's coming. Sorry, I'm hitting the table and just keep on. So let me,
You know, it's a good thing I don't live in San Jose or Warren or something. Everybody's talking about Old Bisbee,
as far as
Sure.
what?
about everything. But I live in Old Bisbee, so it's good for me, I guess.
Well, I
But
hope
I'm
the
thinking
paving.
about other people
Yeah.
living out there, what they think.
Oh, for sure, and I think there's a lot of paving that needs to be done in the morning.
Warren's actually not as bad as, I mean, I think,
Well, some of the cross streets that are pretty rough still,
Well,
they haven't been hit up the first
We'll
time.
show you what we got going.
and you
How
have
about
something
that?
going in every part of town, right?
Yeah, pretty much, almost.
San Jose?
Yes,
Yeah,
every part of town.
That's good, because to speak to the point that Monica was,
You wanna be fair, you know.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
gotta put those funds
So-
around in different parts of the city.
But at the same time, they have to stage efficiently, so
Right,
they'll have their equipment in one spot and knock out a whole area and then deploy somewhere else.
Right.
Correct.
right.
Yeah. The plan is we have something in almost every section of Bisbee planned. So I'm going to bring up, save search. So I'm gonna do a map. It's a lot easier than just looking at road names. I think so. Spring overlay 2022. So I'll start up in Old Bisbee. for right now, but then this is just between, this is between now and July. So we have, let me use mine, we have Roberts Avenue. So last time we paid, we ended up with, one of the last times, Oak and O'Hara, right here. What was, I don't know, you can't see it very well, you know,
That's
zoom in a
right.
little bit.
You can say the names of the streets.
Roberts, and then we have Garden Avenue, which is next to Circle K. Plan on doing that, and then obviously Tembe is planning on being done between now and July.
And then Old Bisbee's kind of done after that, right?
I mean, there's more that we could do, and I'm possibly thinking about doing one more between now and July, and that's because I was driving up through there, part of Shear and Clausen, the bottom part of Clausen,
Yeah.
between Shear and Upper, I think.
Yeah.
I gotta see, it's just a matter of if we can get it done in time.
Shear's pretty.
Going down to the parking lot below, it has a lot of
And
old patches that are seen.
Clausen needs some serious handrail help.
Yeah, we actually did a takedown for cost for that.
And I'll talk about this in liaison comments or whatnot. And then planning on doing Upper Galena between now and July. All the roads of Upper Galena. So we have 3 roads in Old Bisbee, all of Upper Galena, that's the west side of Highway 92, for those that don't know what Upper Galena is. Yeah, and Spring or something. Spring, yeah. And then the last part between now and July is Collins Road and the neighborhood, the bungalow neighborhood back there.
Okay.
And including the senior center parking lot. We don't want to, that's getting to the point where we could start losing that. So we want to catch it before we lose those.
So I wanna go back to, if I may,
Yeah.
Roberts Avenue, up there in Roberts, we had a main break up there bad. That main is, we're talking 1908, 1919, so it's very old. But, the guys replaced 23 feet of it. We probably got about 40 feet left. How much time do I have before? Not much time?
We can start in a different area.
Okay.
Yeah, because I can start down in Collins and then Galena.
Because we got a mini excavator being delivered, on, Tuesday of next week. And so we'd like to get all that done.
I think you're good.
Okay.
That's
Appreciate it.
important, that's important.
Yeah, I'll wait even, even if we can't do that between now and July, I can push that off and we can do something else.
I appreciate it. Guys should be able to get it done within a couple of weeks. I just
Okay.
want to make sure we don't hold you guys up
Yeah,
either. so.
I think it's the benefit of the city also to get the water lines fixed.
There's no reason to fix a water line, dig it up again later.
Yeah,
We've done that a lot.
yeah, so we can definitely start at the bottom. It's gonna take a while for them, to get, Collins Road is a long road.
That helps me too, though, so I can let my corporate office know, hey, look, we don't want to hold the city up.
Let's get,
Relations are good, let's get it done, get out of their way, helps us allocate those funds to that,
Yeah,
that special project.
so those are the areas, Collins and that neighborhood back there, Upper Galena, and then the Roberts Garden and Tembe.
Okay,
That's what, and that is the 226,000, or 272,000 roughly with 20% added on that. So, any questions on those?
No, not on Galena.
Okay.
that sounds
And
good.
I'm gonna we'll make everybody happy here. So this is just this is the small amount that we're planning on doing.
Okay.
So we'll move on to the summer, into fall, and maybe even into next spring, possibly, depending on how long it takes us to get this stuff done. 'Cause the year is July to June, so we have a long time to get this done and do this, so. we are the lower Galena. So we're gonna end up doing all of Galena by the time we're done. Get all of Galena done, pretty much, and have it nice.
So the
good-
lower Galena starts in July, you're saying? right?
Yeah, after July.
Okay.
And you can, and I'll send you guys, I can't send you the maps, cause I don't think I can send
Print
that.
as a PDF.
You could screenshot
Yeah,
it
I could
and
do
save
something
it.
like that, but, or I mean, and you'll have, I can easily send you the list. And it shows, you know, pricing and all that stuff.
Yeah, that would be
Well, I
good.
was gonna ask you, is
Yeah,
there
we can
a way
look at our own map, if
survey,
you just send us
big
that. We can
survey
find a map if you just
cost
send
to
us
the
the
PDF?
list, you know,
Yeah, that's
the
Yeah.
streets and the amounts
How
of
do you
money.
do that? What's the
That's
process?
also-
Oh, he's got that
Too, so-
special map there, and
Sorry.
so he would, you're talking about the streets?
Yeah, well, any survey map, you have to make it into a PDF rather than having a big survey map.
Yeah, you can print it.
All right, and
There's
then,
special software for that, I guess.
and then the next road over is Cochise Row. Finish the rest of Cochise Row off.
Man, they've been waiting so patiently.
I know, now, there is, I guess I forgot about this road. Half of this road, our streets department will do, the other half, I'm going to try, cause I'm looking to have K&G do that one. I forgot about that one. I'm looking to have K&G do
Because of the
that.
drainage?
Because of the drainage, and we have,
Is that the lower half?
mhm.
Yeah.
And what I've been thinking about, and I think it would be a good place to, we have a lot of problems with water and speeding, because it's a long road too. So one thought, and this is not, oh, this is what we're gonna do, this is what we're thinking about doing, is bringing in and just having a 2-lane road down the middle and doing eyebrow curbs, which is the small ramp ones on the sides, and then having paving on the sides for parking along that.
Oh, okay.
So it'll be kind of, and that'll be just in the main part from the ballpark road down to the drainage part.
So the road is lower.
Lower
and
than the
then
parking.
You've got rolled curb.
Road curbs to pavement next
That's
to
on
that.
Cochise Road, right?
So, on Cochise Road, so that it's narrowing the road, and when you do that, it messes with the mind, people tend to go slower. We did that in Old Bisbee, and that's
That's a good idea.
helped.
Yeah.
I think that would be, and then we'll tie that in, it'll keep the water also in one spot, off of the road, off of the houses, and then, when we get to that drainage, make a proper drainage and get it out of the neighborhood. That's what I'm thinking. I'm gonna have to get with Start, hopefully soon, with engineer to get this drawn up. I'm hoping, this will probably be the rest of, so I'm trying to do it in this next fiscal year, but it might be more towards the spring. So I want to get everybody excited about that lives there, because it might take a while with engineering to get it all finalized.
Sounds like a great improvement.
That's what I was hoping. That's what we talked with the city manager, even the police chief, and kind of brainstormed a little bit. So, and then next over is the big move.
That'll help property values there too, especially that rolled curb. People
Yeah.
will like that.
Yeah.
It'll look nice.
Sorry, whenever I click on something else, it resets it, so I think they want it. All right. Come on. Sorry, having technical difficulties.
Need a mouse. Try 2 fingers.
I don't know what is going on. front of this.
Oh, right on, we're done with those areas too, that's perfect.
Come on.
We're at Oliver Circle.
There we go.
Cole Avenue,
There.
the Vistas.
All right.
Yeah, that's,
So-
yeah.
We have the rest of Diatremont, the rest of Briggs, the rest of Douglas Street over there behind the school. We did the first part behind the old Public Works building, between Congdon and Diatremont. So we're gonna do the rest of it. That street is shot.
Yeah,
Uh,
not much of a street.
You can
It's a
even,
road.
you can even see it on Google Earth, it's red because people have to drive so slow.
And then Hoveland, the rest of Hoveland from Congdon up to Cole. And then the vistas, both vistas from Congdon to Cole. And then we can move over to Cole to Arizona Street, Oliver Circle. And then possibly, if we have time and funds, Powell all the way down. And then Holton and Tenor down at the bottom, those are pretty bad too. And it stops, you can see the orange stops on Powell. Doesn't go all the way down to Ruby. I don't know if you can see it on there. It doesn't go all down to Ruby, but that road between, next to the gas station right there, we'll do that as well.
Oh, okay.
For some reason, the iWorks pavement map didn't get that part into it, so. And then moving over to Black Knob. Again, we'll start on the far east end, and depending on time and price. I mean, we have our regular stuff, street stuff we have to do also. And then, so that's the plan. These are some places that are beat up that people have been dealing with for a long time. And pretty much all these roads have been pretty bad. So that is
Wow.
2023. Well, 22, 23.
You guys doing that strip of hazard on the end there too?
That's actually
What is that?
Minder.
Minder. Okay.
Yeah, and not all of Minder is bad. There's a section between Van Dyke and
Well, that
pretty
just
much,
got finished, huh?
yeah, and the end of Hazard right in there.
Well, we have a couple of we got a couple of $1 million projects on Black Knob to replace those mains. The good news is most of those mains are outside of the paving.
Yeah,
They're all on the outside, so that's helpful.
we are projecting to go a little bit wider because
That's good to know.
they're pretty narrow.
Yeah.
Roads right in there,
Right.
if you drive them. So these are projected ideas.
Okay.
This might change a little bit, there might be some things come up or whatever, so this is what's projected.
Well,
The
that's
wider
super
you,
helpful.
the wider you go, the more you have to maintain in the future, so.
Yes.
Be careful of that.
The only reason we're gonna go
Scope.
wider is to get further next to that, next to the ditch, because so we can get rid of all the debris and everything that builds up right there between the rock wall and the road right there. That'll really tight. Well, I mean, it's not much, and we might go a little bit wider, but you can't pass if you, for the most part, on Black Knob. Well, at least on the south side, you can't really pass. You have to pull over or around to get past it through.
That's good to know, though. We really gotta get that project. It should have been released already, so that this helps. This helps.
So, and then some of these we can work around the water company on
I
the
appreciate that.
order and stuff, so. And I'm planning, since we're gonna be doing Upper Galena between now and July, we'll probably start at Galena and get that, and then finish that up, so it's gonna be pretty close, so. start there and then move on. So the rest of the year is not moving around a whole lot, but that's kind of where the need is and the problems,
For a good fix?
so.
And how much does that all cost?
Yes, I will get
Because
that.
I think I works automatically.
Yes, it does, and I will.
As long as you put in the information, so it can't.
Yeah, we had to do a lot of helping updating it. There's some stuff that still wasn't done. So, all right, I'm gonna run a report.
Also the time period of when it was done.
Yeah,
Now it's
now,
changed so much.
and so this is summer overlay. We already talked about the spring, so this is summer overlay rejections. So this is what I can send you. This is the list. Don't get confused on, the different from address to address. The road that is getting paved is that one that says road name. That's the actual road.
Okay.
And then the other two road names are from this point to this point. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's something, so, let me go to the next page. Projected price for that is $531,909.
So it saves, there's money left over for handrails, skateboard ramps.
Now, this doesn't include, the part of Cochise Road that we're gonna get, engineered and everything. It doesn't include that. I can't budget for that at this point. And we're putting it, we're having enough money for that. I just don't know what that's gonna be at this point. This doesn't include, we have.
It's just paving.
Right here is just paving, but we're adding, we usually get, like I said, about 900,000 a year. And we're adding 800 something to the next year, so we have a good chunk of money.
Right, so let's start parking lot.
Oh, we have to go
That's not
through,
there.
so.
How long is this meeting gonna be?
Yeah, and plus we need to hurry up now.
Okay.
Monica and I have to go, no, just kidding.
Oh, we got pizzas coming here, right?
Yeah,
What?
we got pizza coming. All right, any questions on that? So 531,000, it's a lot of roads, it's gonna be a lot of work. We may or may not get to all of them. It's just, I think we'll be able to.
And how many crew we got on Public Works that are committed to these kind of paving projects when they have?
In streets department, there are 4 employees. A lot of times, depending on how big of a project is, I'm able to pull from other departments to help. But for the most part, the 4 streets guys. We usually have the one main guy that runs the paving machine. We have, well, usually it's 2 on the paver, 1 on the roller, and then 1 raking. And then the second guy on the paver, or both of them, get off and rake and everything. So.
Well, that was a curiosity question for me. How many people are you guys able with your budget to allocate as far as new help, new positions? And do you have any of that?
No. Not at this time. That's something myself and the city manager, and Logan, we discussed also, in 2008 when we had the recession, or 2006, I can't remember.
7 and 8.
It went from, we had 8 employees in the streets. And and that's something that was brought up to the personnel directors, and then to figure out, hey, have we ever, have we ever gotten out of that hole? And then to where maybe we can get back to, that amount of employees. So
Gotcha.
that's something that I want, we need.
Even 1 more would be nice, you have to go for all 3.
Yeah.
Do a budget for 1 more part-time, because Javier's,
Not because of Javier, but, so we're still kind of,
Moving on.
this is kind of hard to figure out, we're still in our agenda, so.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We can talk about it if anybody, we are budgeting, I'll just say this real quick, we are budgeting for a part-timer for streets. to hopefully, we talked about last time about getting a street sweeper, to do nothing but driving the street sweeper. So,
And you'll allocate some money to create signage to tell people the hours they can't park in the street so that you can sweep them? You know, like other towns do, no parking on this day between this time and this time?
I think
You
Old
understand
Bisbee
that?
will be the
We'll-
main one.
we'll talk about that at a later time.
It sounds like the whole thing.
Any other questions on street paving, that kind of stuff?
Then you gotta do enforcement.
Update on, I know there was a question brought up about the Ironman traffic control plan. This is because of the council's decisions, this is out of our purview. And,
That's right, we don't even talk about it. That was my item, I'll drop it.
yeah.
Can't beat a dead horse.
Number 5, update on HERF versus 1% sales tax. What is the city's approach to obtain 1% tax, and does the city need support? Right off the bat, HERF funds is projected to be a little bit less in the coming year. We did get that from the state. I think we heard something from ADOT about that. Or from the state. 1% sales tax. This is going to be coming to vote this November. To vote on this. The city also has a large debt from the PSPRS, which is the
Public retirements.
not public safety, yeah, thank you, public safety retirement. And they're over $1 million, no, it's like, how much million?
1.3?
Yeah, 1.3 million in the hole. And that really impacts the overall general fund. So what they're projecting, and so we love the 1%, and I'm all for, I want this 1% sales tax. I do, and I believe the city wants it. It's done great for over the last 8 years, 7.5 years, something like that. I mean, I've been a part of it since the very beginning. We've been able to accomplish a lot. But we have to see what's best for the city overall. So they're projecting a 60-40 split on the 1%, 60% to the PSPRS, and 40% to streets and infrastructure. So,
Why don't they just make it 2%? Just kidding.
that came up, but that's not gonna be very easy to pass. I don't think that'll pass. But if we look at our streets, and the streets that have been paved over the last 7.5 years roughly, and what we're gonna be paving this next year. I mean, I don't have a count for how many we are paving between now and next June, not this coming June, but next June. But it's about, I would say, between around 20 to 25 streets we're paving. So after this year, we're gonna be kind of, streets department with paving is time to be transitioning into more of a maintenance, staying on top of maintenance, fog sealing, crack sealing, slurry sealing, and doing maintenance. And also, maybe even looking to, sidewalks or whatever. We've done all this work, citizens have paid all this money, we have to maintain it, otherwise we'd be back in that same hole. So, that's one thing about, going to 40% of that 1% sales tax. That's one thing we do have to look at and consider. Would it be awesome to have the full 1%, obviously, yeah.
Well, hence the fog seal agenda item I put on there, so.
Hence that, yes. So, any question, anybody wanna talk, we wanna talk further on this, or?
Well, when did we start the 1%? Like when
No,
what year that was?
Oof, that's been a while. 8 years ago, so, I mean, we could be, somebody 8 years, so.
I'm just, you know,
I think
how,
2016? No, it has to be further than that.
I'm just worried, like, at what point are
2014.
those streets paved in 2014?
2015. 2014.
At what point are those gonna have to be repaved completely?
Not for a while, because, I mean, we're fog, and that's why I'm saying, that's when we switched to more of a maintaining those roads. Keeping them swept is a big thing. We haven't been able to do that. We haven't had a sweeper that can do that. Cynthia knows this of all people.
Yeah, I actually requested they not sweep the
Yeah.
streets because they
So,
drop more dirt than picked
That
up.
will help out significantly. Street sweeper helps out the roads, a lot. Not as much, I mean, just as much or, as, fog sealing, crack sealing, and even, slurry sealing. The fog sealing does, I don't know, we won't have a whole class on what the different stuff does, but, fog sealing is doing it, pretty much, lubing it in a way, and putting a new, sealing that up so it doesn't dry out, the asphalt doesn't start to dry out even more. We don't lose that top layer of good asphalt that goes to now nothing but like rock, like that's on Collins Road. That's what we're at now. And then there's crack sealing, which fills the cracks in the roads.
So the fog sealing we can do in-house, the crack sealing,
And
do we
the
need a
slurry
machine
seal.
for that?
Crack sealing, yeah, we would, go out to another company, and slurry seal. Slurry seal, K&G has a good product now, that they did some roads in Sierra Vista. I would definitely highly recommend going to seeing them.
Is that something that
Which was?
we could purchase a piece of equipment to do our own and train a guy? As
What we have to look at,
we like doing?
we have to look at, the benefit or the not, or the lack of benefit of having our own machine versus having, not having to deal with that. Because, crack sealing is something like, when Jesus was here, he's like, we do definitely not want to get a crack seal, because you have to be, even a fog seal truck is a lot of work to keep up and maintain. Crack seal is a lot more of a pain to deal with and maintain and everything. So one thing that we could look at is there's companies that rent them out. And that way, maybe that's something we can look into. They rent them out, so we could, in the season of crack sealing, which is around August to September, somewhere around there, it's when you start doing crack sealing and stuff. We could look at something like that.
Or we just pay the county to do it, they do such a good job.
Crack sealing?
I'm kidding.
Oh,
We
If
don't
you wanna
that.
crack
That was a
windshield.
bad joke.
so,
If you want a cracked windshield.
Yeah, right. If you want the
So,
seal to
let's-
run off and ruin your concrete.
we're done with item number 5, right?
Yes.
Okay. Alright, so fog seal truck, has the fog seal truck been used and how has it worked? Is there a schedule on fog seal? The truck, it's actually called, it's not, doesn't have to be called it, but it's a boot truck is what those trucks are known as. Has been used, we last winter, not this past winter, but the winter before, we did 6,000 gallons of fog seal, which we started in neighborhoods down by Copper Nugget, and then worked our way up into even northern San Jose. Did a lot of roads on that. This year, we got approved to purchase 3,000 gallons. I took to council the last meeting, or 2 meetings ago, I can't remember. I purchased 3,000 gallons, so one truck, our boot truck carries 3,000 gallons.
Oh, okay.
So it's a lot easier, because when we did 6, it was kind of a little much for the guys. So, and that was their first time, so.
It's getting hot out.
Yeah, we are,
You have to do it when it's cold. So.
yeah, it's best if it's cold. If it's not, I mean, it just, the wait time is a little bit longer, but it's best. We haven't been able, it was the plan to start, I mean, in December and January, but we just weren't able to get around to it. We had too many projects going. We haven't been able to
So
do
when it's
that.
gonna get warm now, are you gonna wait? Yeah. Even though it's a
We're
breeze, can you wait a whole
We're
till November?
we're looking to try and do it. It just depends. The guys are cleaning the roads next week. If they get the roads clean and our temperatures still can stay relatively low, we'll still plan on doing it. If it gets a little bit too high, then we'll just wait. We'll have to get another approval.
So you do.
Yeah. Which is, I mean, it's just going to count. It's not a big deal. So, yeah. So that's the Fox Up truck. It works good.
What have you guys been so busy with?
What have we been busy with, Logan?
Let's see,
Everything.
there's well, just the most recent was a cop car crashing into the cemetery that they repaired the gate and repoured.
We've had small projects up and down. I mean,
It's
I could
reactionary stuff,
run
most of it.
work orders. I don't remember everything we've been doing. Patching, we've been,
Those little things take up so much time
It-
and you
but
can't
it
remember what
takes,
they are.
yeah,
But-
it's been so much stuff.
Perhaps maybe that stuff could be subbed out, or
What stuff?
like some of the little stuff, like those repairs.
Well, that's more of what the streets department was for.
Supposed to be.
Yeah, this is kind of more going a little, and that's why I said can we purchase that stuff? That's usually what most cities tend to do is sub all that out, because we have to focus on maintaining the city as a whole. Because the streets department has a lot more than
Streets.
than just streets. They do everything from building maintenance to signs to digging graves to repairing fences. I mean, we do all kinds of stuff.
Handrails, whenever there's another.
Handrails,
accident.
we've had a lot of handrails we've been doing this year.
Hey, what about that handrail over there off of Tombstone Canyon where you put that 3 little set of stairs in and somebody ran into the handrail within the first 2 weeks?
You'll have to ask me that later.
The handrail that should have never been there got run over.
So,
Okay.
well, yeah. Any other
Sticking to the agenda.
thoughts, comments? Good, move on.
Yes.
7, brief update, path around the pit. Did you want to give an update? Or do you want? Okay.
Save that for next time.
I know the grant was submitted, and we're supposed to, hear, I think,
This fall?
yeah, this coming fall
No,
to
it's good.
winter to find out about that, so.
It's a long way. It
But
is.
the project itself, Megan was saying, would be 4 to 5 years before completion
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, completion is 4 to 5 years.
Do you happen to know what work ADOT was doing out there this last weekend? They were drilling.
On the
stuff.
road?
Yeah.
They're putting in, sensors into
For
the ground
movement.
for movement, yes.
That's
ground
exactly
movement.
what I thought it was, because
Yes.
there's some weird stuff going on. And they had these reflectors along the side, which look like the same thing, inside the mine area.
Yeah. So, that's what it was.
Probably don't have to move the highway.
Yeah, the highway will move itself if we wait.
Yeah.
Anyways, all right, on to new business, that was old business. New business, discussion and possible recommendation of Welch parking lot.
Walsh.
Cynthia,
Is that Walsh? Walsh Avenue?
I think she said, we
Yeah,
talked.
we all know where Walsh Avenue is.
Yes.
Right off of, the Gulf.
Brewery Avenue.
Brewery Avenue.
Yeah, that
Okay,
two-tier parking
I-
lot.
I think we discussed this before, but I'm not sure, maybe it was probably.
Yeah, we did.
And I thought we sort of made a recommendation, and I think I have some sort of memory that it didn't ever fly, or
Right, it
because
did
the
go,
public
yeah.
works director at the time did, in my opinion, a terrible job of presenting it to council from what I heard. But anyway, let me just ask what people feel like. There is always politics in Bisbee for things that don't belong to have politics in them, you know? And the parking is certainly one of them. The question should really be how to design it to serve the greater number of people who are taxpayers or residences or owners of property or whatever. It's like, so the city of Bisbee has parking lots. And two of them are right there off of Walsh Avenue. One of them for 15 years has been occupied by one taxpayer, who may or may not pay his taxes, I don't know, one taxpayer, one homeowner, one renter, whomever he might be, with a large bus that houses a bunch of feral cats and is a health risk, in my opinion, and also takes up an entire parking lot with one vehicle, when the city could take it, pave it, mark it, and 10 cars could park there. So between the two lots on Walsh Avenue being used by a combination of 4 or 5 residences who live in that area, which is a good use of it, and then another parking lot that's being used by one person, and that's a bad use of it. The politics is that until this election happens, nobody's going to do anything, because I'm sure it's going to be one of those things where people come out of the woodwork that we're being mean and getting rid of an iconic bus in hippie Bisbee. I actually think lots of things could be done, like move the bus where it can still be on display but not take up the entire parking lot. That would be a solution. I mean, I don't know what the absolute solution is, but I don't think it's fair for us as a committee to not address parking, and Walsh Avenue is one that has apparently been overlooked for years because I think people are afraid of the people who live in that neighborhood. That's the only thing I can figure out from having gone there myself. And I can understand why they might be.
So let's have a discussion.
The brewery likes to be ungovernable, or the brewery gulch.
Right, well, voila for it. You know, we all pay taxes, we all own it. Eat.
Right here?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
But who owns the bus?
Some guy whose name I can't remember.
He
Does he
doesn't,
own that
He
whole
owns
lot?
the house.
No, we own the lot.
Oh,
It's
okay.
a city,
We own-
it's
it's
a
a two-tier
city
lot.
of Bisbee
Yeah,
property.
sorry.
So that, the
Yeah.
top tier is where the bus is, and that second tier is where.
Right. Both of those lots, if they were cleaned up,
but
paved
is,
or unpaved,
One
I
time.
think almost 30 cars could be where currently one bus and 4 cars parked.
but is he sitting on Bisbee, city property there?
Yes.
But I mean, isn't he supposed to be there 48 hours or something like
Well,
that?
right now, then, that's the second condition, thank you for bringing it up. Once and if we create parking or deal with parking, one of the things about signage that's important is that you have them and that they be accurate to what you're trying to get the majority of people to do. And one of the things that, I don't know if we can discuss it, but I'd be glad to hear other people's opinion. My opinion, which is different from the mayor's opinion, is you can't have any signage up unless you can enforce the signage. But I actually think most people will obey signage, and so we should have signage, just like we have speed limits, and just like we have other things.
Well, that's not, let's stay on.
Yeah,
Well,
but it's related, parking and signage is
It's
related.
related to this, it's on topic. The parking lot that's directly above an Opera has signage that says no overnight camping.
That's
It
actually the
probably-
ordinance, the city ordinance.
Yeah, it
It's
probably
that.
says something along the lines of 24 to 48 hours, yeah, pretty sure it does.
Yeah, we put that up.
And it's also gravel, which is what I would choose.
Right, because the water soaks through gravel.
And also the heat.
Right, right.
So, but yeah,
Well, I don't think we have to pave these parking lots, I think we have to claim the parking lots.
Yeah.
And no mayor is gonna do it.
and level it and clean it.
But if a committee of us who represent a broad range within this city, in my opinion, whether you've lived here all your life or 10 years, or it's just not,
Old Bisbee?
it's not correct, it's not right, it's not proper to have spaces to entertain when the city says, oh, Bisbee has a parking problem, and to have the city not develop its own parking. And yet we had that big meeting that I did not attend just recently where the people were in arms because the county and the city, but mostly actually the county, were going to take the parking away from around the courthouse, right, in the Ironman. So everybody gets all upset about losing parking spaces. They should get really upset about having Walsh Avenue and the second one on the agenda, which is up by the pool spot could hold 60 cars.
Okay, we
So I'd like to know how
Anybody
people
else
feel
we wanna
about
discuss
recommending parking.
on Walsh?
Yeah.
Well, I think that they should all be limited to 48 hours, like parking should be.
Yeah, and just print some signs and put them up.
They already have signs. 48 hours, in my opinion, is
So what are we
actually
proposing
kind
in
of
this
too long. That doesn't
discussion?
tell you what to do.
But then they
Oh.
have to change the code maybe, but the code says that you can be at 48.
It does.
It does.
That was that.
So what is this agenda item proposing?
Well, that's what we need to discuss.
Right, so are we proposing to create a committee to identify the cost or present this to the city council to,
I'd like to see
Proceed.
Public Works, if this committee were to recommend that parking lots that are currently, what would the word
That
be,
exist?
neglected, be
Utilized.
utilized and properly signed, so if the ordinance is 48 hours, great. If it doesn't say that, then it could say residents only parking, or it could say, 24-hour parking, or 10-hour parking, whatever they wanted to do, but
But
mostly
it is
it's that,
in the code, it's in the code 48 hours should be, in any city streets, if it's considered a city property, should be 48 hours, no more.
yeah, well, I don't really, doesn't planning and zoning do that kind of, or do the police? Who determines? I'm not
That's
sure that-
police.
huh?
No, the police does not, because I have a lot up there on Oak Street. And the police chief told me we have no jurisdiction.
Okay, all right, so, does anybody wanna,
Because they don't wanna deal with it.
Right, well, I'm trying to think what the wording would be to make,
anybody have
to sign it.
and this, so, let me
Right,
say this, and then this might help guide, what we wanna recommend. This is something that what I've heard, that we want Public Works to clean up the current parking, not necessarily pave it, but clean up the current parking lots and have proper signage.
right.
Okay, so, someone can recommend
And,
that.
and if, yeah, okay.
So, Cynthia, why don't you,
I make a motion that this committee recommend that Public Works staff investigates Walsh Avenue, not investigate, that
Clean up.
Public Works clean up and put proper signage on the 2 Walsh Avenue parking spots, so that, period.
So if they give 48 hours, they
Hold
cannot,
on.
the bus can.
There is a 48-hour sign on it right now on
do
one.
we have a second?
Yeah, I have, yes. I'm motion.
all three of us? Okay.
There's
All right.
second, third, and fourth.
All right,
We all agree. Unanimous, call for a vote, a unanimous recommendation by, that's, I think it's, if we give it as unanimous, it might carry more weight.
all right, clean and,
Do you
And
know
sign.
if any part needs to be flattened or kind
You know, there's a lot that could be,
I
if you
think that-
dug that out and redesigned it,
Get
boy,
a
you could
skid steer
make a
in
great
there.
parking
I
lot.
think will go under clean. We can
Yeah,
get that
if
under
we could
clean.
just do a minimum of getting the, well, that would include noticing the bus and having it removed.
Okay.
You can't get it.
Well, you can't clean it.
Wait, we
if it's
can't
in the
clean
way,
it unless,
so-
Huh?
we can't clean unless it's out of the way.
That's right, yeah. There you go.
And is that the intent of the Higgins Hill?
So, are we done, on to discussion number 2?
Sure.
All right, discussion and possible recommendation of Higgins Hill Avenue parking lot. Cynthia Cutler.
Okay, so again, the only thing really wrong with Higgins Hill, somebody, I guess Public Works, dumped a whole lot of gravel in there a few years ago. I mean, it's like a foot deep. In fact, they put in too much gravel.
It's been
So
there
we
as
can
long as I've been.
spread that gravel around a little more generously, and even maybe eat out a few of the edges, and make it not look like a deserted spot that,
Maybe move it to the other parking lot.
Well, it's been
Yeah,
there
move the
since
gravel to the other-
2014,
but-
I know that.
but one of
It's been there since 2014, I know that.
Yeah.
It's been there since 2010.
the gravel.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
It's deep
so one
enough
of
to
the
get your car
issues though with that parking lot, because again, the bigger picture is that does anyone know for sure, because I can't remember, The halfway house down there developed a little garden area, or there's a cute little garden fenced in white area.
Oh, the.
But I
women's
think
shelter?
that's city property. I think that is city property, and I think that the entire parking area, and what happens right there is because of whoever dug it out, whenever they dug it out, they didn't make much of an entrance. It has a narrow entranceway, and then it opens up into a lot. So I don't know how difficult it would be. I once talked to Larry Saunders with KE&G, so my nonprofit might be willing to help. I'd like to dig out the entranceway to be wider, spread the gravel around a little bit more, get rid of the trees that are blocking people's ability to park, and then, again, just kind of clean, maintain, and put up a sign, you know, no overnight parking. I would try to, 48 hours is the limit for now, we should work on that because that's too long. But the point is, it could say residents in 48 hours, then the residents that park and block the entrance, there needs to be a sign that says where the parking begins and where the parking ends, because right now, the way that two people who live there park, it's a hazard. They block the entrance, so no larger vehicles can get in there. So it's another one of those kind of public works needs to like clean up that spot, because 50 cars can park in there right now. If you paved it, 100 cars. Ken Bud says 100 cars could park in there.
But would 50 cars park there?
Let me put it to you like this. The question of what people will do.
Because that's up a big
It's
ass
right
hill.
behind the pool.
I know.
I know it's up, but if they knew when they went up the hill that they could go into a parking lot that's flat, park, go to the pool, turn around and come back out, it's not that bad of a hill compared to San Francisco. It's nothing. It's just like, you know, it's just a hill that people learn to drive up and down.
I will say, with proper signage, people would park there.
They would,
That's
for
what I-
sure. Well, for the
I
Bisbee,
don't hang out there.
right,
with
for
proper
the
signage
Bisbee
from down
1000,
below.
60 people park up there every time. They go up and down that road like no tomorrow, young
The
people, old
garden area
people.
used to be a lot nicer too, though.
What's that?
That garden area
Mhm.
across.
So we can't do
used to be a lot
anything
nicer.
about what really needs to be done, which is redesign it and turn it into a big paid parking lot so the city of Bisbee can make some money. But in the meantime, if we could just clean it up, signage it, open it up, and spread the gravel a little bit, you know, a day and a half's work, you'd have a great place for people to park in the summer when they want to go to the pool. Because the pool got so much use last year, including people who, families, I mean, it's like, there's not enough parking for the pool now, or the whole entire recreation area that's been developed. There's pickleball, there's a fitness court, there's a pool, and there's basketball. You know, once the word gets out of what's there, we're gonna need that parking lot back there in the spring
And
or
it's
something.
more pickup games, basketball games, so
Yep.
they find a place to park.
Yeah, I mean, right now,
And
it's
the
just
cars will be
kind of
out of
minimum.
Bisbee, they will be out of town.
So if they knew recreation center, if there was signage driving them to that back lot, I guarantee you they would use it, because the walk, the path, the whole area is really a nice family experience. It's really a great area. It's just the gravel's too deep and it's not maintained, so nobody really wants to park there.
Okay, anybody else have any discussion on this?
Sounds good.
If I could get-
Do you want to make a motion?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
to
gonna
clean
say,
up
do you wanna-
the,
Yeah, I make a motion that,
move the gravel to the other side?
yeah, that Public Works looks at the entranceway and does, and tries to, clean up and open up the parking area on Higgins Avenue behind the pool so that it can be used by people who, and citizens who want to use the recreation area we have.
Okay,
That's a
okay,
lot of
hold on.
motion.
I was gonna say, let,
That was a-
hold-
Right.
can we reduce that
Yeah, right.
to cover
One
everything?
sentence.
The Public Works, clean and put signage, that they do the same, clean and put signage in the, what's it called, Higgins Hill parking lot area.
I second.
I said,
All in favor?
Keep working.
All in favor, say aye.
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 So we just keep stirring the pot till somebody fixes these places, right?
All right,
Squeaky wheel.
Then we move to the next one after that.
Yeah.
all right. Discussion number 3, discussion on selecting chair for the Streets and Infrastructure Committee. This is something that I put in. I don't think, and like I said, discussion, not necessarily recommendation. I think this is something we can discuss, and then next time we can bring back for recommendation.
Do we have to have a chair?
Yes, I believe so.
Hey,
Yes.
who wants to be chair? There's a discussion. Raise your hand if you want to be chair. Okay, now we have a problem.
Well, we also have two others that aren't here as well, so.
And who might that be? Maybe we could appoint them to
Well,
chair.
well, we can have a discussion. We have
That is a discussion.
Stephen Daly and David Russell. There's another thing that kind of goes along with this. We have one vacancy also for this committee. We don't have to fill it, but there is a vacancy.
Does it always meet on Thursday? Is it Thursday?
It is Thursday.
I thought we used to meet on Tuesdays.
I don't know.
That's a different committee.
Yeah, they can probably change it if you want to.
Because David Russell,
This
with
is-
his new business, is probably gonna have to resign because he can't get out of his business on Thursday. He closes his business on Tuesdays and Wednesdays.
What is his business?
He owns the lizard out there, out of town.
Oh, okay, the Thirsty Lizard.
Thirsty Lizard, and it's booming, and he's not gonna be able to come, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, with the scheduling, because I mean, they have to schedule all the
Right,
different
so we're
committees
stuck with
to.
Thursday, and so we're gonna lose David Russell, so we can't make him a committee person. So we're gonna be -2 here pretty quick, as
So,
soon as he realizes that.
so,
But I shouldn't really say that, I'm just guessing, because
all right.
that's what he's told me, because I serve on another board with him.
So think about this, you know, until our next meeting, maybe talk to others that maybe wanna, fill a vacant spot, or, think of someone that wants to be a chair.
Can we nominate you? You're doing a great job.
I cannot be the chair.
I nominate Frank.
And I second that. Wait,
He doesn't have to accept it, though.
if you get nominated and seconded, you still don't have to accept it, is that correct? Is that
That is correct.
Come on, Frank, you know you wanna do
Stevens
this.
Crawl, man.
You know you wanna run the
He's
meeting.
gotta be
You know
here.
how to run these meetings.
So, and I will say the chair is the one that will usually be doing what I was doing tonight, which
Right.
is kind of.
And coordinates, and follows up to make sure the city does what we said they should do.
Exactly.
And so we need a nice tactful person like you.
Tactful?
Tactful.
Oh, man, you're gracious with the words.
Hey, Ben and I
I've been
both
told the
failed to
opposite
be
of that the
chairs.
last 2 days, so appreciate that.
Burned once, twice shy.
Yeah, right.
So,
Same here.
but we won't make any recommendations or nominating anybody, but tonight, but, I just wanted to have a discussion, get it on your guys' minds. Or if somebody wants to just volunteer, sorry.
Well, Ben, you weren't being facetious, were you? I mean, Frank was being facetious when he countered, but is there any reason why we can't, there's a forum, can't I make a serious nomination of Frank to be our chair, or not?
This,
We have to
we're
put
only
it on-
discussing,
Oh, only discuss. Come on, Frank, you can do it. All right,
and, so,
so, and then the other guy, what's his name, Day?
Stephen Day.
Stephen Daly.
Stephen
Or
Day.
It says Day.
Day.
Jay?
Day.
That's what it
Yes,
says
Day.
on here.
Oh,
Is he the one who lives in Knockham?
Yes, he does
Yeah.
live in Naco.
Right, I saw him the other
Yeah.
day, I wonder why he didn't come.
Board down there.
He probably thought it was.
Naco
something.
Sanitary.
He probably-
Yeah.
I was worried about that.
I thought that's why it's late. Even
I'll
though,
just click on the Zoom and, oh yeah.
You
He's
saw
at
it
a
at
city
the
council
Zoom
meeting
meeting?
too.
well, no, I even knew
I
it
thought maybe
wasn't.
the fire had him tied up. There was a big old fire down there.
Oh, did you, in not Mexico? Or anybody besides me get almost poisoned? People, the fumes were god
They were
awful.
bad,
Did anybody
yeah.
smell that? All the way
Yeah,
to
it smelled
Warren.
there at the
I thought my
office.
house was burning down. I was running around looking for an electrical fire. And it was just this god awful.
All right,
right.
Anything else that I wanted to discuss okay, member comments, do we have any member comments?
Thank you for doing a great job.
Yeah.
Above and beyond your pay grade.
Agreed.
Thank you. Any other member comments?
I'll have to email you, I forgot.
Yep, if everybody has my email right, I mean,
Yes, sir.
it's really easy, mgurney@boothbaz.gov. Staff comments, I'm excited, I'm new director now, which is still weird thinking, but I'm excited for what we're gonna be doing for streets and infrastructure for the city. Both of us are, trying to do things, trying to make everything better.
Right on.
Trying to get stuff better, so, have some patience with myself, and, because, I mean, it's new stuff, and it's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of moving things. Did you have something?
I just have one other thing. Is there any way, or any person, who, I mean, I know you're already busy, but one of the things that I'd love to see in the Bisbee Observer is where, when you're head of a department, like you are now, that you write a little info of what's going on with Public Works, just because here we are on the committee, we're gonna talk to whoever our group of people is, which isn't that many probably at any given time. But the point is, the newspaper, which goes out to a whole lot of different people, you know, Laura Swan is glad to give space to people who want to write about the cities, you know. So I always thought the mayor should do one week, and the city manager should do one, and then you should rotate among your departments, you know, and put your little face there and say, this is what we're doing. It only needs to be a couple 100 words, and I'm gonna tell you what would happen. The public would fall in love more with itself, because because people are hearing from the people doing the work that we're paying that this is the work they're doing. And just like we asked you, and you said, well, I can't remember. Make a little, just here's the list of it, like they do Chalk Talk for the schools. It's similar to that idea. If you want to keep your job, have job security, have the public love you, that's what needs to be done.
And a 1%.
And a 1% sales tax. You start publicizing now how well you've used that 1%
Yeah.
sales tax. Because you're talking to a real small,
You can upload that map from iWorks onto your article.
yeah, you could just do really
If I do
simple
that,
stuff.
oh, well, what about my street? What about
And
my
you can
street?
assign it to him.
All
What's
right,
your
we're getting a
job?
little off member comments.
Guys,
Any,
You're the assistant.
that's a good
new items for the next
So you
meeting?
assign it to him.
What's that?
This article that needs to be written once
Okay.
a month in the Bisbee Observer.
Any
What's
items for the new,
No,
what's
it's
that?
a cake. And the mayor needs an underwriter, maybe you can help him out.
New items, any items for the next meeting?
No.
Progress on grant writing for large projects, like
Okay.
Commerce Street, bridge structure, some like big stuff that we can't pay for.
We might have a whole
CBDG.
discussion on commerce.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be a great
How-
idea, a great
How
big
about
discussion.
flooding in Bisbee, flooding down Drury Avenue? I think if we worked on those reservoirs further up there, they would stop flooding.
When was the last time we had a flood?
Never, but there's flood insurance there.
We did have a flood about 10 years ago, remember?
Yeah,
when
there
the cars
should
got
be
washed down
something
12
that
years ago?
Anything
they could
else?
stop.
Yeah, we need- Okay.
Well, there's
And
grant
just to follow up on a report back to what happened with our parking
Follow
on Walsh Avenue and the Higgins Hill parking.
up. Okay. All right, do I have a motion to adjourn?
I move.
I second.
Okay, it is, we are adjourned at 7:14.
Huh? Do you like to write?
Thank you, Matthew.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, have a good night.
It's not that hard.
that
It's
anyway.
fun.
Oh,
It's
let's
not
turn
really
these mics off.
needed for this
Yes, please.
Department and others to just start, you know.
Transparency is a huge
Yeah.
thing, just.
If you guys have anything like
There's an
throughout
interesting little
the
story, or we say,
week or
oh,
whatnot, or
those guys did
next
this or
months and
that.
whatnot, you can
Guys,
email
You know,
or come to
whatever.
the office, I got an
We've been
office.
trying to go out and meet people, especially when we get an upset phone call. We better go meet them in person and try to.
Yeah, and then you could even take that thing.
Skate of being nuts on
You
Sierra Vista,
get it,
man,
and
so-
turn them off.
Hey, can you
I'll
have
have
that
that
off?
for you.
That's all.
Hey, aren't you getting skinny?